All right, Trig Homework 32 is all of Chapter 8. Chapter 8, I moved ahead because once I got in the middle of Chapter 7, it wanted you to do part of Chapter 8 back and forth. So we're going to do Chapter 8 before we do Chapter 7, but most of this should be stuff that you've seen many times before. First one here, we're just solving a system of equations using substitution. System of equations is when you have two equations and two variables. And if we have one of our variables solved for x or y, we can substitute into our other equation. So, rewriting the bottom equation, putting in the 3x minus 4 in place of the y. So I'm going to have 4x plus 3 times, and in place of the y, I'm going to put 3x minus 4 equals my 27. Now I have an equation that just has one variable that I can go ahead and solve. So 4x plus 9x minus 12 would equal 27. Combining my like terms, 13x minus 12 equals 27. Adding my 12, 13x equals 39. And of course my last step, dividing by my 13. X equals 3. So I found one of my answers, x equals 3. To find my y value, technically I could use either equation, but the top one's already solved for y, so that one, of course, is the easier one. Y is equal to 3 times my x value, which is also 3, so 3 times 3 minus 4. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 minus 4 is 5, so y equals 5. Now, if you weren't sure if you did that correctly, you can always check your answers in your other equation. So if I took 4 times my x value, which is 3, plus 3 times my y value, which is 5, do I get 27? Well, I would get 12 plus 15, which is 27. So yes, it checks out. Hopefully I know, yep, I did it right. So on number 2, we are solving our system of equations by substitution. Notice on this one, our bottom equation is solved for x. So I'm going to replace the x in the top equation with the 3y minus 18 that x is equal to. So rewriting my top equation, I'm going to have 5 times 3y minus 18 plus my 4y equals 5. Now my equation just has one variable. I can go ahead and solve that. 5 times 3y would be 15y. 5 times negative 18 would be minus 90. Plus 4y equals 5. Combining my like terms, 15y plus 4y would be 19y minus 90 equals 5. I would go ahead and add my 90. So 19y equals 95. And then I have to divide by 19. 95 divided by 19 is 5. So y is equal to 5. Again, I want to find my x. I could use either equation, but my bottom equation is already solved for x. X is equal to 3 times the y value, which is 5, minus 18. 15 minus 18 is negative 3. So my x value is negative 3, my y value is 5. That should be the solution to my system of equations. Again, if I just quickly double check that, 5 times the x value of negative 3 would be negative 15. 4 times my y value of 5 would be plus 20. Negative 15 plus 20 is 5. Yep, it checks out. So number 3, again, we are going to solve by substitution, or it wants us to solve by substitution. But notice on this one, you don't have one of your equations saying x equals or y equals. But it is easy to rearrange this top equation and solve it for y, since the y doesn't have a coefficient in front of it. So my first step here is just rearrange this equation And so I am going to say y is equal to -5. And if I move my x over to the other side, plus 3x. Or you could put 3x minus 5. Wouldn't make any difference which order you put it in. Now that I have that top equation rearranged and solved for y, I can substitute here in for my y value on my second equation. So 2x minus 5 times the y value, which is -5 plus 3x, equals 12. Solving that, 2x plus 25 minus 15x would equal 12. 2x minus 15x would be -13x plus 25 equals 12. Subtracting my 25, -13x equals -13, and when I divide negative by a negative, I get a positive, so I get x equals 1. Again, I have to finish solving that, and so I'm going to use my equation that I already solved for y. You could have used either one of your original equations, but definitely once I already have it solved for y, makes it a whole lot easier. So y is equal to, excuse me, -5 plus 3 times my x value, which we got a 1 for. -5 plus 3 gives me -2. So I got x equals 1, y equals -2. Again, if I just quickly check that, 2 times the x value of 1 is 2. -5 times the y value of -2. Negative times a negative would make that positive 10. 2 plus 10 is 12. Checks out. I have my answers.